Right, is this working? Okay, this is going to be one of my first live streams. It looks to be working. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, okay, it seems to be working. So, all I'm going to be doing today is a full service repair on the Samsung Galaxy FE. It has got a crack in the camera lens as well, and there's a crack on the screen. We are going to be using a genuine Samsung service pack, which has the full frame and screen in one piece, and we've also got a brand new rear glass or battery cover, whatever you like to call it, to go on as well. So let's tilt the camera down and get started, if I can get it all the way down. So let's see how quick I can do this as well. So first things first is to take the battery off, the battery cover off. So we have some razor blades. Now if we can get under the edge. Once you get under the edge, I do like to use some plastic like this. It's just like the plastic you get on those heat shrink packaging. Most stuff comes in it. The horrible stuff that everyone hates because you have to use scissors to get into it. But it does come in handy for something. Right, so once we get the plastic in, we can run this all the way around the edge. This is a bit of a speed challenge for me as well, which is why I'm live streaming it, to see how quickly I can actually do this repair. So let's try and get under there and get the glue removed. Get in there. Okay, so there's the back off. Ooh, nearly off. Yep, fully off. Why's the camera not focused? There we go. So that's the old back. Now I could keep that and use it on another repair. It's not in too bad nick if somebody doesn't want to pay full price for a new back. Right, so first things first, Samsungs are a lot easier than iPhones because normally you don't have to remember where all the screws go. Unlike an iPhone, they have the same size screw pretty much in every slot. So all we've got to do is take the guts out of this and get it into the other one. If I can get that out. Now, there's no background noise or anything, so I understand it's going to be a bit of a boring stream, but this is what it is to repair. You know what, if we get a pair of tweezers, it'll make it easier to get those screws out. So what we've got to do is take out all the screws. So these plastic housings hold the antennas, some of the NFC stuff, and the wireless charging coil, which is this. This is the wireless charging coil here. So you want to be careful not to rip that. I am just noticing that some of these are longer than the others, and I think these bottom ones are longer than the top ones. So we'll put what for taking out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, so there's 5 of those. So I shot myself in the foot already. There are different size screws in this, but nowhere near as bad as an iPhone. Yep, that's a bit of a longer one. So it is something you do have to keep an eye out, because if you end up putting the wrong size screw back in the wrong slot, you could go straight through the frame and through the screen, which is definitely not what you want to do. If I can get this screw out, would be amazing. Come on. There we go. Yep, so that looks about right. So you've got the slightly longer ones going to this bottom section, and the slightly shorter ones go up to this top. Now, next is to make sure you remove this glue here for this wireless charging coil, because it is stuck down to this bottom. If we can just lift this up. There we go. So that's your wireless charging coil. You want to make sure you do not rip that, otherwise you will have to replace it. So next we just need to take out the top cover. Like so. Just be careful I haven't missed any screws. I don't think I have. There we are, it's coming out. Okay, so there was a connection in there, so we'll have to remember to connect this little, I think they call them Lego connectors, back, and also the loudspeaker is connected to that as well. So there's that piece. Next we want to take the bottom section out, if we can get it out without bending my tweezers. Use a bit beefier tweezers. Doesn't want to come out. Oh, there we go. Okay, so that, I believe that's another speaker in there, and yeah, there's nothing much else onto that part. There's just the loudspeaker with the 2 push connections on. So now we've got the subboard, the main board. This is the battery connection, so let's take off this battery connection here, and then this connection ribbon that connects the 2. Connected the main board to the subboard. Now I do want to reuse this battery, so what I will be doing to make it easier to remove is putting IPA, isopropyl alcohol, around the outside to soften up that glue. I'll let that sit whilst I'm taking the rest of the gubbins out. So sometimes the main boards do have an extra screw to hold them down. Yes, this one does. It's the first time in an FE, but most Samsung repairs are pretty similar. So there's that one screw out. You've got your connectors for your loudspeaker, for your cameras. And I can't see anything else that I need to disconnect there other than these 2 antenna connectors. So I'll just pop those 2 out. Those are out the way now. Those focus. Those 2 little connectors here are just what I've removed. This camera's not very good for focusing. So now, before I pry this out, yes, it's a good job I checked. there is a, make sure you remove the SIM card tray, otherwise you will end up bending something. Just get a SIM tool. Pop that out. So there's the SIM tool, SIM tray out. So this should lift out as one piece now. Hopefully. My hands went horribly shaking. Okay, so that's the main. That's your main board. So I need to pop that there. Let's double check what else we need to remove. So sometimes the service packs come with some parts and not others. So we can see that this connector here does come with the new one. I believe that's for the side buttons, so I don't have to do anything with that. You've got a little green plastic cover going over the fingerprint scanner, so you must remember to remove that. And there's a few protections. There's a protective film for the front camera, and there seems to be an adhesive protective film there, which is for, that is just for the back of this camera, to hold this camera into place, so that's no problem. Everything else seems to be in order. So let's take the subboard out. This is actually the camera. This is actually the screen connector here. This one on the corner. So let's take that off. There is one more small black screw holding the subboard in. So we'll take that screw out. This little sensor here is the fingerprint sensor. Now sometimes these are glued in and they can be a bit hairy to get them out. Yeah, typical like this one is. So let's just take the, let's take that, so that's the fingerprint scanner. Just take that out and get it out of the way. Now let's see if I can lift this out. Yeah, it's glued in. So I'm going to use a little bit of IPA. You don't want to use too much in case there is probably going to be a microphone on this, so you don't want to get the microphone wet. There we go. Okay, let's pull these two antenna connections out with it. And there's that. That's the subboard out. Now what we still have in the frame here is this, which I believe is a little vibration motor. Now they do put a little hole there that you can hopefully get under. And there's that out, so we must remember to replace that into the new frame. Okay, so that's in. Now just double check that I don't need to take anything else out of the old one. I can't see anything other than the battery. Now the battery is the funnest part. I do have a spudger somewhere. And hopefully this battery will come out without too much of a fight. Yes, it will. Nice. Just lift it up a bit. Put a bit more IPA underneath, and that'll just help loosen that glue a bit. Don't rush it. I find it's best to go all the way under and then pry that way. So there's the old one. Nice little pool of alcohol sitting in it. So we have a few creases in the battery, but I don't believe them to be an issue. No, they're okay. So let's just take this old adhesive off. Don't really need to take all of this off, but I'd like to make it a clean job. Just take the majority of the loose stuff off. Could spend ages trying to get all this off, but I'm probably just gonna roll what I can off with my thumb, and then I'm just going to use some double-sided tape to stick it back into the new housing. Pardon me. Well, honestly, I think that's as much as I'm going to bother to take off. I'll just find some double-sided tape. I do just use standard sellotape, double-sided tape. It works perfectly fine. Put a strip at the bottom, and a strip at the top. Peel that off. And we'll insert this into the new housing. Just double checking it was the new housing. There we go. So that's in. Now, we need to make sure that we actually remove. Why is the focus really terrible? We need to make sure that we remove the fingerprint scanner. It has a piece of green protective film on it. We'll get that off. The front camera sensor also has. And there is also a piece of blue film here that's covering a piece of adhesive. So got all those off. Now just drop this back into place. Get the cameras in. Okay, that seems to be all in order. Now we'll just put that one screw back in. Okay, now for the subboard. Doesn't just want to flop in. Does it hook under that? No. never want to force anything like this, because if it doesn't go in first time, you're probably missing something, or something isn't lining up properly, so never force it. There we go. I believe that is, maybe not. Oh yeah, there we go. That subboard's back in. So connect the screen to the subboard. Now run these cables back up this little channel. Okay, then we connect these back to the main board. They're very small, very delicate, do not force them. If you break one of these off the board, unless you have some very good micro soldering skills, you will not be able to get it back on. There we go, that's that one on. And there's the other one on. Okay, so that's all in. Next is the connector to connect the subboard to the main board. There we go, that's all in and as it should be. We do have another little screw down here. I believe it goes there. Yeah. And then we've also got a fingerprint scanner. So we drop that into its housing, connect that connector. So there we go. Right. So now we just need to connect these bottom two pieces. Okay, that's on. Now, like I did say, there is a little connector on this, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it back, get that connector on, and then flip this back over. And don't forget, you've got to connect the battery before you do screw that piece out. There we go, so there's the battery connected as well. Okay, that's all seems in the right place. Right, so now to go around connecting these. There's connecting these, screwing in the screws back. And remember, we had the smaller ones, slightly smaller ones through at the top, and the slightly longer ones go down at the bottom. so that's all the top screws on. Let's put all the bottom ones in. Okay, so that's everything in. Put the SIM tray back in, and now is when, I don't know if this battery has any charge, but this is when we want to test it. And no, this phone's been sitting on my desk for a while, so typically it has no charge. And I don't even think that this charger is very good, so I might have to run to the car. Let's hopefully we see something on the screen. Let's hope that we see something on the screen, as this is live. I don't think that charge is any good. Give me a moment, I'm just going to go grab a good shot. Sorry about that. Oh, and it has turned on. It's just that charger's crap. Okay. So let's just take this wire out. Put in a new one. I'm waiting for it to come up with the percentage of the battery. That's how you know that it is actually taking a charge. And then the only thing we need to do is attach the new rear panel, which has some protective film over the camera lenses, but there's nothing else to connect. Connector wise. Again, this phone has been sat on the desk waiting for this service for a couple of months, so it does make sense that the battery's pretty flat. I will edit this video and oh, there we go. Happy days. So it's charging. Right, so whilst that's doing that, let's connect the new back. So all we have to do is remove these protective films, this protective film on the adhesive rather. If I can get it, there we go. And this one actually has a couple of cutouts that make it a lot easier to line it up. And there we go. So, let's power it on. So that is how you service pack, and basically you end up with a completely brand new Samsung from the outside. All of the bezels are brand new, the screen is brand new, and the back is brand new. Now, I don't know if this belongs to someone who hasn't been wiped, so if it comes up with a picture, oh, there we go. Happy days. Let's check the cameras. If I can remember how to do that on a Samsung. Where's the cameras? Oh, bugger off. Camera. No, I don't want location tags. Okay, that's working. Let's see my ugly mug. Yep, front camera's working. Happy days. Let's just check that the microphone and the speakers are working. Test, test, 1, 2. And then we can go into the gallery. Would help if we turned it up. Oh, it's on mute. Test, test, 1, 2. There we go. All good. One fully serviced Samsung S20 FE. Now, I'm going to try to do some more videos like this. I'm going to try and get better quality cameras and better angles and things like that, but this was just a spur of the moment kind of thing. But yeah, happy days. All done. I don't know how to turn it off. How do you turn it off? Do you have to hold both of them now? Yeah, you do, don't you? Power it off. Okay, all done.